Hi everyone, it's Diane K. Brennan here at the Druidess's Den, and today I'm doing first impressions of the Anima Tarot de Marseille. Now, this was a Kickstarter, and this is by earthmoonmagic.com. It is no longer available on their website, and I was really trying to figure out how I could get a copy of this because I saw this on Ina's channel over at Taproot Tarot, and I was like, oh my God, it's too cute. It's too fun. I have to have it. I love animals. And so I finally reached out to Earth Moon Magic on Instagram. I DM'd them, and they let me know there's still some in their Amazon shop. I will try to remember to link their Amazon shop. They're not on their website anymore, but they are still in the Amazon shop. So the box has a really cool design because this top lifts off. I love this almost like waves design on the box. I think this is probably one of the coolest box designs I've ever seen. Very pretty on the inside as well. It has a very substantial guidebook. Now, I'm going to tell you that for me, this guidebook is pretty much useless because my one disgruntlement or disagreement with this is that the meanings are very Rider-Waite-Smith. And I don't read Rider-Waite-Smith with my Tarot de Marseille. I read Tarot de Marseille with my Tarot de Marseille. So this guidebook is almost completely useless to me. If you read your Tarot de Marseille with the RWS meanings, you're going to find this really useful. I do not. What I do find useful is that every single one of these cards has the spirit animal section. Okay. Since I also don't use Pythagorean numerology, the numerology section for the majors isn't going to do me any good either. All right. But I will say the majors all have quite a bit of information. Okay. They have several pages with the keywords, primary meaning, the message, the colors, the shadow, the spirit animal, and then the guidance. That's more than what the lower cards have, all right? But your majors have all of that. I mean, there are some spreads if you're interested in them and things in here too. I do like the fact that in the spirit animal section, it tells you what the spirit animal is in each. Oh, so they're all a little different, by the way. All right, the High Priestess, primary meaning, reading, shadow, spirit animal. Whoops, sorry. And that's it, no guidance. So they're all a little different because she didn't have colors. The Empress has colors, so they're not all exactly the same. But there's still quite a bit more information in these than there is when you get into the minors. Well, because you don't have animals here really to do the spirit animals. And then separate are the courts, which again have animals on them. And so there, like, there's an overview for the pages, and then there's specific to each page. And all of the pages are the reindeer, all of the knights are a ram, all of the queens are a lioness, all of the kings are a tiger. So it is well done that way. The cardstock. The cardstock is, first off, it's gilded, so it tends to stick together when you first get it. And then it's got a gloss finish on it that you can see, like, I have to break them apart, sort of. And I've soaped this, and I'm still having difficulty with that. I hope that wears off. I will find out because at some point next year, early next year, this is going to end up going into my rotation for my daily draws. But I mean, other than that, I'm going to say the cardstock is bendy, and I have shuffled this to mix it in, and it was actually pleasant to shuffle. Now, normally I take gilding off because I can't stand it. It hurts my hands. I'm going to say this did not. It also tends to chip. So I'm going to see how it holds up. I'm not initially taking the gilding off of this one. I may down the road because I've only mixed it in and it's already showing signs of chipping. So I don't think this is going to hold up well on this gilding. So I'll probably eventually take the gilding off, like probably after I use it for monthly draw the first time. All right, as my card of the month or deck of the month. But we have a reindeer for the Fool, which matches the same kind of, or a white-tailed deer, actually. I think this is a white-tailed deer. There's reindeer and then there's white-tailed deer in here. There's many different animals. So a white-tailed deer for the Fool and for the pages. I love having the rabbit for the magician because of, you know, pulling the rabbit out of the magician's hat. The cat for the high priestess and white, which are typically your spirit animals, I think is really brilliant, makes a lot of sense. The empress, like the queens, is a lioness. The emperor, like the kings, is a tiger. The baboon as the pope. This is kind of what made me have to get this deck, was the brilliance of some of these animals. If, like me, you grew up watching the very limited run of Kimba the White Lion, and you have to be of a certain age to remember it, okay? Because it was in the 60s. Or the very closely based on it, although Disney denies it, Lion King, with Simba the lion. Both of those have the wise baboon. So, you know, as like a shaman, wise leader type figure. Some cards like the Lovers, here we have the two reindeer. That's why I differentiated back on the white-tailed deer. Here you actually have the reindeer, the antelope, and a snow goose. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. I've only read a few of the cards. We have a ram for the chariot. I do believe that's a hawk for justice. I love this little old man looking barn owl for the hermit. You've got these three animals on the Wheel of Fortune. I like kind of the Frog King up on top. That's cute. Here, I had to look this up because I was dying to know what that was. I had a heck of a time figuring it out. It's a tree. It's not an animal. The tree has healed the lion, tamed him with love. A bat for the hanged man. A scorpion for the death card. I mean, a lot of this really makes sense. This, if I remember right, for temperance, this would be a water buffalo. Let me look that up to make sure I'm right. Oh no, it says here a ram is a gentle spirit animal. Okay. I still say that particular ram looks like one that's known for being in the water. Now I'm going to keep the book handy because the devil is the other one I'm dying to know about. Because this looks like some kind of lizardy creature. Oh, serpent. Okay. That's a serpent. And then we have a chameleon and a seahorse. And it says why in here. I'm not going to, it's a lot, but it does say it in here as to why each animal, like what they do as a spirit animal. The tower is, it looks like two wolves falling out of the tower. You have a goat for the star. You have two, these are either leopards or cheetahs. They definitely look like leopards on the moon with the crayfish. Now in the sun, it looks like the same animals, and that's why I wanted to keep the book handy, because I wanted to go to this and see what it says those two animals are. Because I thought that the seahorse is the one, and the chameleon. I was right. These are the same animals that are in the devil card, are here in the sun card. So it kind of connects those two that way. And then we have an eagle for judgment with the deer. And we have a centaur for the world. So those are your majors. I love this face in the cups, Face of Cups. The Two of Cups, and I love these lotuses instead of the fish. And it looks like we have a phoenix down there. We have the 3, 4. I love these colors. I absolutely love the colors to this. I love these outlines. They're all like a little different. I mean, they've put a lot of work into this deck. I love the style of the cups. They're different than anything I've ever seen before. I just wish the cardstock didn't stick so much. I really do hope that goes away. I mean, I'm having to kind of make sure I push them all apart to do this. The other thing I don't like is that these are pages, not valets, that we are in English for all of this. Now, when it came, these were separate. After the majors, you had all of the pages, then all of the knights, then all of the queens, all of the kings. So all of the pages are this antelope. All of the knights are the ram. All of the queens are a lioness. And all of the kings are a tiger. They're just all dressed differently, holding their element, and in some slightly different poses. But overall, I love the art. I love the colors. No regrets buying this. I'm glad I have it in my collection, and I am looking forward to working with it as a daily draw. It's just the only part of the book I'm going to use is the spirit animal book, because it's the only part that's really relevant to me. The rest of it is not. All right. So that was, wait a minute. Oh, that was cups and batons. I need to, there we go, split those out. All right. So I'm preparing this to go ahead and shuffle and mix it back in for you. Show you how I do that. How I mix a deck. The Ace of Coins. I love the coin designs. I think these are really lovely. And on this, you do have, what do they have? Myths in Art, 1471 to 2032. Interesting. I don't know what that's about with a 1471 date. I'll have to see if the book says anything about that. Eventually, not today, not right now. You get the deck, or if you have the deck, you'll have to look it up. But I do love these I mean, overall, I really like this deck. And it wasn't bad to shuffle at all. Kind of like differentiating the 10 of coins by having these two kind of opposite color coins there. I have to say, I think she's my favorite queen out of all of them. And he's my favorite king. Then we have the Ace of Swords. Again, very traditional Marseille. So I don't know why they didn't go with Marseille meanings for the book. They went with Rider-Waite-Smith ones. I don't get that. I know a lot of you that are Rider-Waite-Smith readers, if you do use Tarot de Marseille, that's how you read it, is just basically as a pip version of the Rider-Waite-Smith. I do not. I read Tarot de Marseille as Tarot de Marseille. I use the cartomancy meanings because that's what it is. And I take off all of the extraneous layers that were later put on it by the esotericists. So I don't use all of that extra. I mean, astrology is astrology. Tarot is tarot. Kabbalah is Kabbalah. Tarot is tarot. I don't believe they go together. But, you know, everybody's entitled to their own beliefs and their own practices. So I'll do me, you do you, you know, and I'm good with that. So like I said, if you do layer all that stuff on there, you're going to be good with this deck. Now, I take one of the straights with one of the rounds, typically, together, and mix those in first to mix up a deck. And you can see this isn't shuffling bad. I can't bridge shuffle. I wish I could. I've been watching Manifestopheles' channel, and he can bridge shuffle. And I think Anima can too. And I'm like, man, I have tried over the years, and I can't. Now, that's how I do the initial mix-in, and then I'm not going to sit here and do it, but I shuffle them 9 times because I'm a 9 life path. So I'm attuning them to my 9 energy when I do that. I'm sure everybody's got their own methods, but if you're looking for one, that's a good one, is to mix them up the way I just did, and then mix them further by doing them. And I straight riffle for that. I don't do any overhanding with that because I'm not asking a question. So I straight riffle 9 times. All right. So that's my first impression on this. The back is, if you read reversals with the Tarot de Marseille, which personally, since there are 2 suits that are completely, you can't read them in reverse unless there's something to give that to you on the bottom. Or unless you mark the deck. I consider reading, first off, it's not original to tarot to read reversals. That is a more modern invention that came along with the Rider-Waite-Smith. Golden Dawn invented that. Secondly, I just don't see a point to it with the Tarot de Marseille because there's a good chunk of the deck that can't be read that way. I mean, the majority of it can be, but there's a good chunk of it that can't be. You have 2 whole suits. I mean, that's 28 cards that can't be read in reverse. So it leaves you 50 that can, but if you do, the back is fully reversible. So, if you have this deck and you've used it, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. How you feel. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I think it's cute. It's fun. And it's definitely going into my rotation for daily draws for next year. The box is really sturdy. I am, of course, going to figure out a bag for this. And it will get one. I'm going to keep the book with it only because of the animals until I kind of get to know them a little bit. But that's really my only, again, my only use for the book. That's my opinion. Everybody's entitled to theirs. Everybody's entitled to their own practice with the cards, and we all read differently. So I just did want to absolutely introduce this really cute and fun deck that you don't really see on too many channels. Wasn't out there a lot, which is how I missed it on Kickstarter. So I wish you much love, many, many blessings. Peace out.